So today we haven't won. It's a strange feeling of kind of satisfaction. We played better, but we still haven't got over the line.
It's one of those frustrating feelings where we know we could have won, and we showed when we had the ball that we can beat them, but we just didn't defend well enough in the first half.
Okay.
And it's a little bit frustrating, but there's that buoyant feeling of we know we're improving each week, and that come 2 weeks' time we come against Bournemouth, who are going to be tough, that we've got nothing to fear because we can score and we know it.
Yeah. So how much of this is about skills and fitness, and how much is about confidence and belief?
Well, stepping up from the Stags, I was a bit worried that I would be overpowered or I wouldn't be fit enough, but it is down to the belief a lot that yes, you're playing that higher level, but you've got the skills to prove it. If you get picked for this level by the coaches for this level, then you can handle it.
Okay. So can you just tell us a bit about your rugby playing history?
I started off in New Zealand. Andrew Mearns was my coach when I was at Christchurch Boys.
Good coach.
Yeah. Well, this is before he made the All Blacks, and he used to get heckled off the second team pitch, and then the next season he made the All Blacks. Moved to Australia, played on the Gold Coast for 5 years. Moved to Ep6, played there for 5, and have been in Newbury since. So It's about my 4th year here, I think.
So New Zealand going to win the World Cup?
Of course.
Okay, you would say that, wouldn't you?
Of course.
Okay. Last weekend we had a very narrow loss. In fact, we nearly won. A much improved performance in the second half. Was this down to an inspirational half-time team talk?
I don't know whether it was inspirational. Some people mentioned that the week before we obviously gave the guys a hard time at half-time, and then they failed to score again for the rest of the game. So maybe we did look at it in a different way, but at 32-17 at half-time, we just felt that the game wasn't lost or wasn't won. When we had got the ball, we'd looked particularly dangerous. We just hadn't really got our hands on the ball enough, and we had been a little bit sloppy when they'd got the ball. And I think each time we lose games, we're sort of losing them for different reasons. And this week perhaps was, we just gave them a bit too much respect in the first 15 minutes, and they took advantage of that, got a couple of tries up, and then we were always playing catch up. But we did feel at half time that if we could get some ball, the backs were looking particularly dangerous. Joe Wood had an outstanding game at full back, and whenever he got the ball with space to run in, he was making big yards. So it was just a question of putting it all together. So when we got back to 36-37, and you're thinking, hang on a minute, this is a game for anybody to win. And yes, a tinge of disappointment where they scored it well. They scored a try at the end, and give credit to the guy, he slotted it over from the touchline just to take an extra bonus point away from us. So we got a bonus point for 5 tries, and it's a long time since we scored 5 tries, well over a season. We scored 4 a few times last year, but we never got to 5. So disappointing that we scored 5 tries and still lost, but improvement, step in the right direction. We've now got to sort of put it all together, and I'm sure a win's there waiting, really. Okay,
so our other sides last weekend, the ladies had a good win, didn't they, at home?
Yeah, well, the ladies obviously are marching on, and we wish them all success. They had a good season last year, and when you move up a level, it's always a little bit more difficult, but it's good that they've started in a winning way, and hopefully they'll continue that.
And the A's won, I think.
Yeah, well, we have sent the other 2 teams out, so as we said last week, a bit of a challenge for the club to try and get 3 adult sides out on the same day, and we achieved that more than enough. The second team, the Stags, went down to Bournemouth and lost. I think it was 30-something to 12. And as I said again last week, they were dealt a pretty harsh card by that particular league. I'm not criticising them; it's just the way it falls. But they had Chichester the first week, who were the winners of the league last year, and Bournemouth came second. But I spoke to Neil Booth, who went down with them, and he felt that in patches we really did compete with Bournemouth, so we weren't blown away. Things to work on. It's a completely new group of players. And then the mighty A's went off to Chipping Norton and ran in a big score. And we're going to try and get a team out primarily of A's team. There was no fixture for the A's or the Stags this week, but they're keen to get a fixture, and they've managed to get one against Salisbury this weekend. So it'll be a combination of the A's and the Stags going and just playing some rugby, because they've got league games coming up which they need to stay fresh for. So they had a good win, and hopefully they'll continue to win, because I think there's enough talent in the club that A team should really win the league and get up to the next league at the end of the season.
Up to Amersham and Chiltern. What are we doing to sort of carry on self-belief that we ended last match with onto the next one?
Well, yeah, that's the sort of the golden nugget. How do you bottle that and keep it? Difficult, really. If I'm sure someone's got the recipe, they can pass it on to me. It's just really just working on everything that went well, emphasising the positives. Obviously, picking up on the areas where we were slack and see if we can do something about it. It's going to be a tough fixture. It's sort of been written in the New Weekly News, and I agree to some extent. In that Amersham have been promoted now for 2 or 3 seasons on the trot. They're a team that are used to winning, and they haven't won yet, so they'll be keen to get back to that winning way. They're playing at home, and we're obviously the side that's lost or been relegated for 3 seasons on the trot. So we've both got a point. We sit just above them on points difference, but it would be great to go up there, get a win, and come back here having got that illustrious. Because I think really once we get that first win, everybody will settle down. They'll realise that they're capable of winning games, and so it will come a little bit easier to them at subsequent occasions. So yeah, it's not going to be easy, because I'm sure they'll be keen to get that win themselves, but it's not beyond the realms of possibility either.
Okay, good luck everybody. Thanks. Right, Richard Hooper, what position do you play?
Second row.
Okay, and tell us about your rugby history to date.
I used to play at Shrewsbury up until last season.
Okay.
And I've also played for University of West of England first team.
Okay. What do you do when you're not playing rugby?
I'm currently going into my 3rd year of studying quantities fair at UE.
Okay. And that's it? You just study and play rugby?
Yeah.
Okay. And 3 words to describe yourself?
Tall, good looking.
Modest?
That's 4 words, so no.
Okay, fine. Right, I've got some quick fire questions. They're quite random. Just 1 word answers, okay?
Okay.
Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Batman or Robin?
Batman.
Porsche or Ferrari?
Ferrari.
Cider or lager?
Cider.
Facebook or Twitter?
Facebook.
X Factor or Strictly Come Dancing?
X Factor.
Curry or pizza?
Curry.
Star Wars or X-Men?
Star Wars.
Nadal or Federer?
Federer.
Simpsons or South Park?
South Park.
Ibiza or Blackpool?
Blackpool.
Attack or defence?
Attack.
Book or magazine?
Magazine.
Scooby-Doo or Flintstones?
Scooby-Doo.
Party or quiet night in?
Party.
Crisps or chocolate?
Crisps.
Country and western or jazz?
Jazz.
Johnny Wilkinson or Toby Flood?
Wilkinson.